Have you guys ever wondered what happens when you sleep? It's something that I've been thinking about a little in the last month. I randomly had a conversation with a friend and it sparked that thought. And it was something that I didn't really know anything about. So I decided to study it and to figure out exactly what does happen when we sleep. I had heard some weird stuff about dreams that we have, but sure enough, there's some crazy stuff that happens. And my goal tonight is to help you understand what our sleeping patterns are, how long they last for, and what the effect is overall that it has on us. Um, what our sleeping patterns are, it starts out with the fact that there's two different processes. There's the NREM cycle and there's the REM cycle. What NREM stands for, NREM stands for non-rapid eye movement, and it has three different stages. It starts out with N1, N2, N3. N1, I know you guys have all seen. I want you to all think about a classroom setting, maybe a lecture that was a little bit more boring, and you look at the neighbor beside you or somebody in the classroom, and they're starting to nod off. Have you guys all seen that?
Yep.
So, yeah, and so what's exactly going on there is that people are starting to fall into N1 sleep. It's where you're not actually necessarily asleep, your muscles are starting to relax, but you also twitch at the same time, and your heart rate and your brain activity are starting to slowly decrease. And that leads into N2. N2 is the first unequivocal period of sleep. It's the first time where you are actually unconscious. You are not aware of what's going on around you at all. You have no ability to really react unless somebody actually wakes you up in that period. And there's really not too much more that goes into it. Just no conscious awareness, and your breathing pattern, your heart rate start to really slow down. Now N3, wish you guys all knew how appreciative you are of N3 already, but N3 is beauty sleep, essentially. We think about the times where we're actually really out, disconnected from the world. That is this time. This is the time where we are at our all-time low, and our brain activity, our heart rate, everything is at its all-time low. And it makes up about 15 to 20% of our total sleep time. It's really important. It's something that we really need. And I'll talk a little bit more later on about how we can get the most of that sleep as possible. After the NREM cycle is completed, it leads into the REM, which is rapid eye movement. The reason why it's called that is because it actually is a period where your eyes are darting around in your head. Kind of a crazy thought. But the reason why they think that that happens, they're not sure. Scientists believe that it's because you're actually visually picturing things, your dreams. It's actually starting to become real, according to Harvard Medical. And it makes up about 20 to 25% of sleep for healthy adults. Also, according to Dr. Amy Gordon for Psychology Today, she says that this is really the main time where our dreams occur and our muscles actually are temporarily paralyzed. Kind of crazy. Once again, that might be, scientists once again believe that might be because it's stopping us from acting out our dreams. I remember being on the mission and talking to some of my friends, and if they acted out of their dreams, it would be really weird. But this goes on to transfer into how long these patterns last for. We know the NREM cycle and the REM cycle combine into one sleeping pattern that we have. N1 lasts for about 10 minutes. N2 only lasts a little longer for about 10 to 25 minutes. And N3 lasts for 20 to around 40 minutes. The REM cycle, it takes up about 20 to 25% of our sleep for healthy adults. It kind of ranges in time period, but according to Harvard Medical, the first NREM and REM cycle that we have that's combined, it lasts for about 70 minutes to 100 minutes. And as each one goes along, it starts to vary a little bit, but the rest of the cycles that we have actually go for about 90 minutes to 120 minutes. And this is just the pattern that we continue throughout the night. So it's not overly complex in any which way, but it also is very, it's a very important time. And the effect that it has on our body is really great. The NREM sleep, that beauty sleep, it really is most effective when we sleep from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m., which is hard for us college students. We tend to stay up a little later, but it really is important to go to bed during that time and to make sure that we're getting the most NREM sleep that we can. Because the more NREM sleep, the more N3, which is the time that we really, really, really benefit from very deep unconsciousness, essentially. And the REM cycle, I actually found this really fascinating. It's a time that's really crucial for children because what it's allowing them to do is that's the time where you dream the most, right? And so these children have dreams and they start to remember them. It starts becoming a long-term memory. And as that experience goes on, their children's ability to develop a long-term memory grows, which I found really fascinating. So the more REM sleep that they have, the more their ability to develop their long-term memory will build up a little bit. And it's something that's really necessary. Out of all this, though, I've just really come to appreciate the fact that it's designed so perfectly. It's something that can really help us as we understand our sleeping patterns, how long they last for, and the overall effect that they have on our bodies. And I hope that there's anything that you can pull away from this is the fact that it is something to appreciate. It's important to go to bed at a certain time, and it's important to just allow those cycles to occur. And as we do, we'll feel more rested. We'll feel better. And I hope that you guys are all excited to go to bed tonight. So thank you. And then my computer shut off, so I have no idea if it completely finished.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I just noticed that. Oh, it's still going. Okay, hey, here's my audience. All right, that's all 8 people.